Hey, this is Mikey with another After Effects tutorial. In this video, we're doing some titles. Looks like flying bats and some smoke and some lights. Pretty cool. It's inspired by the Dracula Untold movie trailer. So stick around and we'll show you how we did it. So in this tutorial, we're going to break it up into a couple of different things. Let's pause this to kind of see what's going on. We've got these bats flying in the background. There's some smoke. You can see it looks like smoke, and we got some light. So I am going to make this so it is dynamic, so we can go in and switch out the text with whatever, and everything will just automatically update. So in order to do that, let's start with a brand new composition. Let's call this Bat Titles, and let's put in the black background. So I'm going to hit Command Y on the keyboard, or Control Y if you're on a PC, and just BG for background. Make sure it's comp size, and I just want black. Next, we're going to make the bat, the animated bat. And to do this, we need to animate a bat, and then we're going to use a particle system to distribute it so it looks like there's a big swarm of bats. So I'm going to create a new solid. So again, Command Y. And I want this to be, let's go 250 by 250. Make sure it's black. And it creates this square. I'm going to take that layer, call this bat, and pre-compose it. So Command Shift C to pre-compose. So bat animation, and leave all attributes in bat titles. And so what it does is it now creates a composition that's the same size as that solid. I clicked on it to go into it, and we're going to make a quick animation of a bat. Now this is going to be really rough, and it doesn't matter because it's going to be so fast and so many of them. You just need to have a hint of a bat look. So make sure you select the solid. We're going to grab the pen tool. It's up here. You can hit also G on the keyboard. And let's make a bat. I'm doing it with the wings up. Isn't that a beautiful bat? Now let's go into the mask, to the mask path. And let's zoom in here a little bit. I'm going to copy this and move it forward to the 4th frame. So I've got 3 frames in between that I need to animate this. So let's just go to the 2nd frame and let's start to animate the wings. And you don't have to be very precise at all. And you'll see here when I'm done how crappy of an animation you can make this and it still works. All right. So then what I like to do also is move the whole bat together. And so if I click on the 2nd frame and I just click right on the keyframe, it's going to highlight everything. I'm going to move this up a little bit. Let's do it for this one as well. And you can see that's starting to look like a bat flying. All right. Now, there's not really a way of looping this unless I use the time remapping tool, and I don't really want to do that because it's only 2 seconds. So the easiest way is to just copy these keyframes and then paste them right in a row. I can also maybe come in after I've done a few, copy them again. Make sure I'm pasting them right over that last keyframe because it's the one that repeats. Let's take a look at this. That is a flying bat. Let's go back into the bat titles. I'm going to go ahead and hide this background so we can see. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now let's create a particle system that uses this bat in order to create the particles. So I'm going to just hide that bat. Let's grab a new solid. Name it particle. Let's make this comp size. And let's go up to the effects, simulation, and particle world. And with particle world, you're actually able to use a composition in your timeline as your particle, which is why I chose that one. So let's go into the settings. Let's first go to the physics, and let's turn off the gravity. So it's set at 0.5. We'll set that to 0. Then let's go to the particle, switch the type to a textured square, and then change the texture to the bat. And you can see now those bats are flying everywhere. That's pretty cool. Now I want to come in here to the texture time, and instead of have it to current, I want it to have from start. So now they're all going to be at different parts of the animation. Let's come in here, make sure the max opacity is up. We can maybe increase the depth size. And I also want to go into the producer and let's increase the X radius. That's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to bring this birth rate and I want to keyframe that. And towards the end, I want to have a lot of bats. So bring that up. All right, this is looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and create our text now. So I'm going to grab the text tool. Let's just type our text, our title. I'm going to center that. And before I do anything, I'm going to take this, I'm going to pre-compose it. So Command-Shift-C. Call that title. And let's begin to create what we do with the text. So I'm going to take this title, I'm going to duplicate it. I'm actually going to duplicate it twice. So there's 3 things of the title. So there's this bottom title. Let's rename that to be white title. This one to be bat title. And the top one, black title. And we need all 3 of them. So first thing, we're going to go to the particle layer. And we're going to go to the track mat. And if you're not there, there's this toggle switches modes button. And we're going to go to the alpha mat. Let's go ahead and turn off this top. And what you can see here is you can only see the bats where the text is. And the reason why we have this white title down here is otherwise it would be see-through behind it. And we don't want that. We want to see the white behind it. And so that's why I have that. Now this black title, it's not black yet, as you can see. But I can't just change the color of the text because I want everything to be dynamic. So let's come into the effects and we're going to add a color correction to this. And we're just going to add a tint. We're going to take the white and we're going to make that black. And one last thing I need to do is you can see there's a little bit of a, if I turn on the black background, you can see there's a little bit of a white, kind of a halo around this. And so in order to get rid of that, I'm going to take this white title, let's go to the effect, go down to matte, and let's add a simple choker. Let's set that to 1. And that should get rid of it. Okay, now what I need to do is I'm going to create kind of a dissolve. So I'm going to take this black title on top. Let's grab our pen tool. And let's just create a very organic shape. I'm just kind of lots of curves. And then I'm going to keyframe this. So I'm going to go into the mask effects. And there's this mask expansion. And that's what that ends up looking like. So let's expand it all the way so it's black. Keyframe it. Move forward. And let's go somewhere in the middle so we know how much further. And just about that much. So 20, 22 is good. And then finish keyframing that all the way off. And that's what that looks like. Maybe we can make it a little bit longer. To take any animation longer, you just have to separate the 2 keyframes so they're a little bit further apart. All right. And then we need to do the opposite. So we take it from no mask to a lot, all the way there. Okay. So that's about all we need to do. So it should look something about like this. You know what, let's go into this particle effect and maybe change the radius just to add a little bit more variation in size. There, that's looking better. So now let's take the white title, the particle, the back title, and the black title, and we're going to pre-compose all of these. So Command-Shift-C, call this your main title. And we can go ahead and turn the background back on. Now let's add to this the light. So if we go to Effects, Generate Light Burst, And you can see immediately that's starting to look like our example. Let's go ahead and just increase the ray length. And this effect does take quite a bit of processing power, so I'm going to bring the resolution down. Let's just go down to 1/3, so it's a little bit faster. Okay. Now next what we want to do is add the smoke to this. So let's grab a new layer, just a new solid, title it smoke, and we're going to generate some noise. So let's come down to noise and grain and do turbulent noise. And we're going to create just a basic smoke. So fractal type, let's change this, maybe smeary. Go into the contrast, increase the contrast, the brightness a little bit. I'm going to increase the size under the transform and decrease the complexity so it's a little softer looking. Maybe not smeary. Let's see what other options there are. That one's looking pretty good. Maybe increase the contrast a little bit more. And let's bring down the scale now that I've switched it. About like that. Okay, that's starting to look like some smoke. So let's go into the evolution. I'm going to keyframe the evolution. Go to the end of the composition. And let's have it move. I can also maybe come in here and keyframe the scale. So at the beginning, and then I'm going to scale it up. So it's looking about like that. And what we can do with this, I'm going to take this main title, I'm going to duplicate that. So this is main smoke. And the bottom one will be main glow. So let's take that main smoke, highlight it, go to the track matte, and we're going to go to Luma matte. You can see it's starting to look like smoke. Let's go down to the main glow, and I'm going to take this light burst and delete it. Let's see what it's looking like. That's pretty good. Let's come into this main glow and let's add a glow. So go to Effect, Stylize, Glow. That's starting to look pretty good. Now, last, we just need to add a little bit of a vignette and some color correction, and I think this is going to be good to go. So let's add a new adjustment layer. Make sure it's right at the top. Let's go to color correction, add some curves. I think I just want to bump the greens a little bit. Maybe add a little bit of red. Now let's add another adjustment layer. And I'm going to add this ellipse to it. So I had that already set to the ellipse tool, but if I double click it, it's just going to add a mask to my adjustment layer. Now I can come into the color correction and go down to exposure, and let's bring down the exposure. Then I hit F on the keyboard, and it brings up the feather for the mask. Click invert, and I'm going to feather it. I just want these edges to be not so harsh. All right. That's looking pretty good. So I think it needs to maybe fade on a little bit faster. That's easy to do. Let's just come into the main titles. And that's this top black title. So if I hit U on the keyboard, it'll bring up my keyframes. And that's a little bit better. Maybe a little bit faster at the end as well. Now something I want to show you is we can now change this title. So I can come in here and have it say Mikey. Come back into the main bat titles. And now we've got it saying Mikey. So pretty cool. After Effects. Back to the main bat titles. And same thing. Now it says After Effects. So that's the tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Now you might be saying it's a little bit early for Halloween, but if you're one of my current subscribers, then this has actually been released a little bit before Halloween. Actually a lot bit before. It's the summertime now. But if you are watching this and you're not one of my subscribers, you might want to consider doing that. I put out these new tutorials every week. Twice a week actually, so long tutorials on Fridays where we go over a look like this, and then on Wednesdays we do quick tips which are 1 to 2 minute videos that teach you a quick skill or a tip, or even all about a little filter in After Effects. So just little things that you may not know, you may know, but you may want to remember. So please go check out the channel. I've got lots of tutorials there. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I'd love to answer them for you. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.